The market over the past year for the upper quartile has been booming. Prices are rising, there's a stamp duty holiday, and buyers are out in numbers. This certainly is a seller's market. It is true, high-end agents are achieving record high prices for homes. Multiple offers have become routine, and for many sellers, their home is only available for a number of days or weeks before they receive an offer that is not only acceptable, but more than they actually thought possible. While there is plenty of positive for homeowners during this strange time, there is a darker side of estate agency that unfortunately has come to light: overvaluing. It's not anything particularly new. The practice has been historically limited to a small number of agents, but now it's become rife and causes untold heartache and stress for sellers, with results that can be seen in the high percentage of properties that are not selling, even with a great condition in today's market. Let's have a look at why overvaluing actually happens and why it's increasing, the problems it causes, and the true route to getting you the best price. Having the tools to spot an overvaluation and knowing how to deal with it can help you minimize the damage to your move. The biggest question is, why do estate agents actually overvalue? Well, there's a secret about estate agency. It's not the sales that are the most important thing, it's having a healthy register of available properties. Without a constant stream of new listings for their website and the property portals, estate agents' inquiries can dry up. This can leave them with an out-of-date list of potential buyers, many of whom could have found a property by the time the agent lists a new home. Overvaluing properties to get them on the market is a low skill, unethical, and yet a highly effective method. It preys on people's understandable desire to get the very best price for the home. It makes them question and even be annoyed by lower and more accurate valuations. An overvaluation can make a seller put aside every concern they have about an agent's professionalism, marketing, personality, and service. If the figure they are quoted is sufficiently high, it can leave them feeling that any downsides will be worth the eventual financial reward. Unfortunately, that's not usually how things turn out. More often than not, the sellers who were misled go from being relaxed and having plenty of time to move to being desperate to sell and racing against the clock. Why are more and more agents actually overvaluing? Changing business models have disrupted the industry, leading more and more agents to take more and more drastic measures. One significant factor is a new kind of reward structure that prioritizes getting a property on the market over securing a sale. It can show up in a pay-up-front agency contract or in the way employees are targeted. It's not good practice. The practice relies on training people in ways of quoting prices that are 10, 20%, sometimes more above market value while still appearing credible. That sort of inflated figure is high enough to prove tempting, yet still within sight of what a seller could see and hope as possible for their home. Once you've listed your property with a nice valuer, that will be the last you see or hear of them. Now you'll be handed over to the sales team in the branch, who will be skilled in slowly managing you down on your price, but in a way that leaves you feeling as though they've been on your side all along and trying their absolute best for you. We're so used to seeing it. It's horrible to see. The ideal is simple: to keep you long enough for your move to become more urgent by tying you to a long contract of at least 3 months. The agent enshrines their chance to market your property at its reduced and realistic price, leaving you blissfully unaware that there was never a plan to achieve the figure you were once originally quoted. Many people see switching estate agents as a hassle, but it's really very, very easy, and there's no need to feel trapped. Why is overvaluing such a big problem? Misleading people over the likely sale price of their home causes all sorts of issues. For a start, you won't be able to move. Properties that are on the market for significantly more than their market value just won't find a buyer. We don't get calls from people with a budget 20% less than an asking price in the hope that an agent will take a huge hit. Those people simply won't see your property in their search. Instead, you'll be competing with higher value homes, and you'll achieve nothing more than making those homes look like better value than actually yours. Next, when one property on a street is on for an inflated price, it's extremely difficult to get other sellers to market their homes at the correct level. This leads them to go with an overvaluation. You see how cunning and clever this is? And so begins the waiting game of who is going to drop their price first. And once the first person does, everybody else who's on the market at an inflated level will get a phone call telling them to drop their price to compete. Meanwhile, it ends up looking like property in that street or neighborhood just sits on the market for ages, creating a negative impression of the location amongst potential buyers. For the sake of argument, if you do some miracle sale 20% above the market value, the buyer's valuer and lender will not simply accept that price. They'll want to see comparable properties that have sold in the neighborhood, and when there are none, they'll reduce their valuation and the amount they are willing to lend to reflect the local sale prices. That would inevitably lead to your buyer renegotiating the price, which could leave your move in shreds if your onward purchase is based on achieving an inflated price for your own property. And while all that's going on, because your home initially went under offer at an inflated figure, more properties will come into the market based on the price you accepted because of the supposed new level you set. This will lay foundations for more delays, disappointment and heartache among other sellers when properties either don't sell or get heavily downvalued by lenders. The best way to get the best price. Estate agents are there to get you the best possible price, but the key word is achieve, not mislead, deceive, or delude. We have never once met a homeowner who was grateful for having their home move delayed or ruined by receiving misleading advice. That single moment of joy when an agent quotes them an inflated price is rarely compensated by sitting on the market for months with no sign of a buyer. Anger is a more accurate term for the emotion it evokes. In a rising market, there is definitely an argument for trying a higher price than the last comparable sale, but property does not increase by 20% in a single week or month. So look around at similar properties to yours that have sold and that are for sale. If a comparable home to yours sold for £400,000 last week or last month, yours will not sell for £500,000 today. In the main, you will lose inquiries if your asking price is more than 5% higher than where it should be. But you can still use the property portal price brands to your advantage when trying to push your price. Sticking with the example above, most buyers will, with £400,000 to spend, would use the 400,000 to 425 price band to search and would probably call about a property that was for sale at 425. But asking even 1 penny more would remove you from those search results and pitch you against higher value homes between 425 and 450. Remember, your asking price is purely about getting inquiries. Without them, there is no sale. And without enough inquiries and viewings, the market will find a new level if the response is great enough. Don't deny yourself that chance. How you should protect your move. The market is great at the moment, but we have no idea how long that will continue. Who knows where we will be in a month or 6 weeks from now. We want to help you take full advantage of selling conditions today and be the reason that your actual move is successful and it leaving you happy and joyed and wanting to do this. So here are some tricks you can use to work out whether an estate agent is testing the market through a genuine sense of enthusiasm for your home, or if they are simply overvaluing to get your property and satisfy their KPIs or regional manager. Ask these 3 questions, which will give you an idea of the agent's motivations. Does the valuer sit with you in your home, get paid for putting your property on the market or for selling it? Will they be your main point of contact throughout your time on the market, or is the meeting your first and final encounter? Will you be tied into an onerous long-term sole agency agreement for months and months on end? If you still wish to chance your arm at the agent's higher figures, there are some precautions you can take to ensure your move isn't completely scuppered. Do not sign up for anything longer than 2 weeks if you are being quoted an inflated price. You'll know by then whether the advice you've been given is correct and whether you wish to stay with that agent. Check that you don't have to give any notice beyond those 2 weeks, as some contracts have lengthy termination periods. Insist that any clause like that is completely removed. Do not reward the agent for misleading you. Make sure to disinstruct them at the end of your contract if it's clear you've been duped.